Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back. So, day number 10 of contest prep. 146 total days. What we got. So, yesterday we went ahead and had a killer shoulder day again. I tell you what, my shoulders are starting to look real good during a workout, that's for sure. Like, they're kind of small, not pumped, right? Especially that medial delt. It's just kind of like a slope out there. But, I mean, front delt wise, developed. Rear delt, I think it's a little bit ahead of the medial. You can see it pretty consistently most of the time. So, also, I think some of it comes with just the kind of like body fat I'm probably holding. So, that just is what it is, because we are, sitting at like 20. But that is what we're working on changing, right? So, kind of surprised about how quiet this freaking boom lift is. But we had a killer workout. Now, been kind of, scrolling TikTok. I come across those lives of like people who coach and ask me this and that and all that stuff, right? That comes to like contests and competing and all that stuff. So I drop into those little lives occasionally, see what they're kind of saying, what questions are being asked. Holy crap, the love bugs are out. But we lately been asking the question, I'm at 20 or 21% body fat. How long should my prep be to be stage ready? Which, for the most part, first competition, competing novice, if I can get to 7-8%, will probably be pretty chilling for the first ride. Be nice to get leaner than that, 6%, maybe 5%. Be pro level conditioning, but don't really know that's going to be quite feasible on this first one. And that's, just being realistic. We're going to shoot for it. We're not going to sabotage ourselves on the way there, because I would prefer to be that lean. But if we don't make it, it is what it is for its first competition. The reason why I'm saying that is a lot of these people are kind of saying, oh, you're rushing it really at like 6 months. And they're trying to say, it takes 8, 9, preferably 10 months. It's like, well, that doesn't really make sense, right? At least to me. Why is it going to take 8 and 9 months? Because with the 4.5 months I've given myself, that's 1.75 pounds a week, right? Then one of them was like, yeah, well, it takes about 4 months for people to get from 20 to just 10%. And then it takes them another 3 or 4 months to get just stage lean. I was like, man, like that dieting phase seems way too long. Because in reality, that means that nobody has like any time to put on size and or recover. Especially anyone doing more than one show a year, right? So how are these dudes improving? They wouldn't be. So some of this TikTok information just does not seem anywhere near correct from these live streamers that are supposedly coaches and this and that, right? So I don't know. Just kind of makes you question about the information that's kind of out there. And then, because you see people that are actually competing, they'll compete, then they have like a month basically that they kind of seem to, they don't completely take it off, but they reduce their training down to a couple times a week. It's just to get a little pump. They start reverse dieting. They have any little injuries, they might go for 2 months out to 60 days while everything kind of requires or repairs. So that's already 2 months of the year. Then they're going to go through, 4 to 6 months. Well, I would say probably 3 to 4 months of a bulk phase, right? Where they're trying to put on as much size as they can. So say it's 4 months, because they do it a little slower, try to keep it a little leaner. So now you're at 6 months. Then you're going to transition and probably have a deload period with a little bit of recovery after your strength period of, say, a month. Well, you start working out your next block and everything like that. Start working on changing your diet over. Start working on adding a little cardio back into your days. Then you're going to get into your hypertrophy phase, right? Where you're going to try to put on size now. So that's going to be like 3 months while getting leaner. It's kind of like a recomp phase. I wouldn't quite say a cut yet, but you are going to get leaner. So if that's 3 months there, so you got 5, 8, like 10 months of the year already kind of taken up. Now they're going to be starting at a 13-15% body fat and then be stage ready, in like 2 months, right? That's for the dudes doing one show a year. So at least that's kind of the way it's perceived, especially by the pros and stuff that kind of post YouTube videos and stuff, such as kind of like Ryan Terry. He seems to have compete, take a little time off, recoup, then he goes through like a strength and size phase, then he kind of shifts into hypertrophy phase, and then like the final dieting phase, does one show a year. So I don't think it's 9 months of cutting. So, but we shall see. September 19th might roll around and I'll just still a fucking still a fat piece of shit. That is always a possibility, right? So we will see what happens. But as long as we don't create any new injuries, we don't get hit by any more cars, we should be pretty solid at that point. So I can definitely tell you in the mirror, the body's currently changing pretty drastically. So that's I guess I'm kind of out here to say, you know what, here to prove some motherfuckers wrong, right? We're out here to do our prep the way I think it needs to be done, in the time frame that I think it needs to be done. We're either going to do it wrong or we're going to get it right, one of the two. So it's kind of the only options there. But that, make sure you're out there working on your goals, getting your stuff done. Most of all, just don't be a lazy fuck.